Hey guys, welcome back to the Monday Morning Mindset Podcast. And today, guys, we've got an educational podcast for you. I think most people are always wanting to know like simplicity of getting started. Like, how can I go from step one to step two to step three to ultimately getting to the place where I desire, where my goals are, where my chief objective is, and that's going out there and serving as many families as you can. And I think for myself, entering into this space, I wanted to go out there and for one be able to provide for my family, make some money. So that's you like, hey, this is where I'm making money for my family. You want to be able to go out there and do that at a high level. And so a lot of times you start in final expense, mortgage protection, but very quickly you should be educating yourself to go out there and be just a full line agent, like full service. You can help clients with multiple things, retirement solutions, advanced market. And the one thing I could tell you that's true that I know to be true is this: what you think is isn't oftentimes, and what you think isn't is, meaning that you think it's so much more complicated to go out there and help a client with some of these advanced markets. It really isn't. In fact, now you want an index annuity, I almost don't even think they're advanced markets. It's kind of like just one of the same in the life space. But when you start to get good at, index universal lives and finding clients that you already probably have that are a good candidate for that product, man, your profitability goes through the roof. And so today, guys, I wanted to really jump into our new platinum partner. It's Augustar. We've got Ryan Banbury on. Ryan, good to have you with us, my man.
Blessed to be here, man. Super excited and can't wait to get started with all of you. So exciting.
Well, this has been a long time in coming, man. Like, so I know we had a chance to kind of connect a couple months back and just really valued you as a person, your character, your vision, your openness about where you guys were at as a carrier. You got to get some things lined up
Yeah.
for you to kind of work with an IMO that's got all these tiers. You just accomplished that. And so now we're live with you guys. And really to me, right when this happened, I went out and wrote myself an Augustar IUL, and I've been telling every agent, if you want to get good at IULs, go write yourself one. Write yourself an IUL with Augustar. You'll learn right out of the bat, like you thought it was so hard, so difficult, but it's not, and that'll set you up to ask the questions you need to ask to identify the clients that have the money or want to be able to place an IUL. And so excited to have you on, man. And really today, what I want to do is have you kind of unpack a little bit about Augustar, like who you guys are, the vision, the values, what sets you guys apart in this space. Obviously, it's a competitive space. There's a lot of IULs out there. I think as an IMO, we do a good job in kind of discerning which ones are going to be the best for agents to go serve clients with because we have the ability to choose that. And we've landed with you guys as being top tier on that list. And so go ahead and kick it off with that, man, and then we'll get into the blocking and tackling and what it looks like to write an application, do an illustration from start to finish. So if you guys, by the end of this call, you'll know how to run an illustration, know what client is going to be best fitted for an IUL, how to run an illustration, and then how to go through the application process and actually close it. So we're going to go from A to Z. So Ryan, I'll let you kick it off, man, and take it from here, man. I appreciate you being on, brother.
Yeah. It's I'm so excited to be here. I know I said that already once, but it bears repeating. My name's Ryan Banbury. I'm a regional vice president with Augustar. There are five regional vice presidents, but I'm your ears and eyes on the inside here with Augustar for everybody watching today. I live in West Hartford, Connecticut, but really with you folks, I cover the entire country. And my role is to basically do everything that we can to make it as easy as possible, like Paul said, to get everybody up and running and up and started. And so I always like to say this because it's very, very true. When you take a look at the landscape of the top life insurance carriers in the United States, specifically as it relates to index universal life, there's one or two and maybe a third that by tens of millions of dollars dominate and are the number one, number two, and number three carriers in the industry. And we've done a lot of research on that. And there's been a lot of white papers that have been written. There's just a lot of information in the industry around why that is. And the reason is it's the simplicity. It's not the products. It's how simple is a life insurance carrier able to make it for an agent to bring a customer on, walk them through the process, get them illustrations, get them through the e-app, get them submitted, get them approved through underwriting, get the policy issued in hand, get that family covered and protected, and obviously get the agents paid. So at Augustar, we like to say, and I hate that I'm going to say this because I'm in sales. Like I don't like saying it, but I feel it's very, very true. We at Augustar are the industry's best kept secret. because we have all of that simplicity. We have all of everything that you're familiar with if you've written IUL in the past, and or if you have not yet and you covet keeping things simple, making it easy to explain things to your customers and making it happen really, really quickly. We have all of that. But the kicker is, and why I make that bold claim of like the industry's best kept secret, like that's a pretty bold claim, is on top of the simplicity, like the industry leading simplicity that we also bring to the table, we have some of the best products, and in some instances, the absolute best index universal life product from an income, cash accumulation, and income generation standpoint that you can get in the market. So it's a win-win for you. It's a win-win for the customers. And so we'll just kind of dive in here. And I think the best place to start really is like, who the heck is Augustar? It's a fair question. Some of you might be asking that. You may not know who we are, but you may recognize our legacy company, which is a company called Ohio National, which was founded in 1909. So way over 100 years of experience. We're founded in Cincinnati, Ohio. Again, I'm in West Hartford, Connecticut, but our home office is in Cincinnati. And so why is that important? Why do I mention the history? Well, first of all, Augustar, we changed our name about 4 years ago because we were acquired by a private insurance company, and they changed the name, hired brand new leadership, brand new vision, which is working with all of you, and brand new products, which we'll spend just a second on and talking about that. And I know I'm showing a PowerPoint slide now. We'll spend just a few minutes in the PowerPoint, and then we'll really dive into like how do you run these illustrations. So we'll talk more about the products as we go through the illustrations, and then okay, the next step is all right. We click submit, or you run the illustrations. How do I get this to go from paper to actual application? So we'll go through all that as well. So Augustar, today we're an A-rated carrier. We're A-rated across the board. We get that question often, but again, our roots started well over 100 years ago. And so I'll just cover this quickly. What we really pride ourselves on, okay? It's all about simplicity, transparency, and value. Those are not just three words that we pick that we think sound good or that might show up on a billboard somewhere. Everything we do is about simplicity. Whether it's getting agents contracted, like Paul said at the beginning, we did a lot of work to get to where we are today, to get all of the agents contracted through a process called Sure LC in about 2 days. We get you folks contracted fast. We're going to get you paid fast. You'll love our e-app, which I'll show you in a second. Everything is all about simplicity. Then we talk, this is an underwriting. I'll talk about this in a second. I know this is a busy slide. Underwriting is part of our simplicity. It's core to who we are, but I won't hit it now. We also offer significant transparency. What I mean by that is the way that we designed our products is, I actually think it's more important now than ever. Paul mentioned a moment ago that there's so many index universal life carriers in the industry. That's true. There's over 50, pushing 60 carriers now that offer some flavor, whether it's vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry, some flavor of IUL. We designed our products with the customer in mind. What does that mean? We want your job to be as easy as possible, playing the literal telephone game and explaining to the customer what they're buying. We know, because there's been a lot of industry studies that show that the more a customer understands about their policy, the more that they were educated about how it works, the better they feel about it, and the less they feel like you sold them something, and the more they feel like you educated them, and now they're bought in. And so it helps with your placement rates, and it helps with your persistency. And we just want to set up our agents, all of you, to have really good, transparent conversations today versus challenging conversations years down the road with customers that maybe purchased something that they didn't quite understand how it worked. So we like to say our contracts have no gotchas, no surprises. And then value. I hinted at it in a second. Again, this is the last slide, and we'll jump into the real meat and potatoes of running the illustrations and talking about the products. Speaking of the products, the value that the Augustar contract brings, what we can bring to you and to your business as you help to grow your business and as you help to protect families in the United States. The products that we offer, super simplified processes, really fast underwriting, we'll cover that. But the actual contract that they receive on the IUL side, it is usually, I like to use the analogy from horse racing. It's usually win, place, or show. Usually number 1, 2, or 3 in the entire industry, again, of about 50 or 60 carriers, of being able to provide customers access to cash value and use that later on in life to supplement their retirement incomes. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen in a second and jump out here. And this will just take a second as I transition and bring up our website here, and I'll show you what the website looks like. Do that right now. All right. Beautiful. And I'll zoom in because I realize it displays small on the screen here. So this is essentially this is what Paul's portal looks like. This is the portal and what it will look like when you guys jump in. And WinFlex, as you see here, is the spot where you'll click to get to our illustration. So just click this button and it will take you to WinFlex. All right. A lot of information here on the screen, but ultimately all you're going to do is click the pencil for illustrations. All right. And then we'll click start new case. Some options in here, just start new case. And then you'll obviously only have Augustar Life as the option to select. Okay. Now, there, interestingly enough, I'll start at the bottom. These products that you see down here, these are the Legacy Ohio National products that technically you guys can sell. Don't. We're not necessarily sunsetting them, but they are still available. They're just not competitive. They are traditional dividend paying whole life contracts. Here's where you'll see our highly convertible, usually quite competitive term product. We do offer an industry first index whole life 10 pay, an index whole life 20 pay. I often get the question, Ryan, what? What did you just, what? Was there just a glitch in the matrix? You just said index whole life. That doesn't make any sense. Well, just the 30-second story on this. We are the only carrier in the United States that offers index whole life. So what is index whole life? It is whole life insurance filed as such in all of the states except New York. We do not do business. Sadly, I'm in Connecticut. It's annoying. I'm like an hour from the border. We're not in New York, but it's filed as in all the states as whole life insurance. So it has all of the guarantees that people love about whole life insurance: guaranteed premium, guaranteed death benefit, guaranteed cash value. Our cash value is guaranteed at 2%, but it's a non-participating whole life, meaning it doesn't pay a dividend. And everything you know about whole life insurance stops. So it's a structured contract. You got to pay for 10 or 20 years. It offers meaningful guarantees like all whole life insurance does. But you have the opportunity to earn in the opportunity to participate in our index crediting strategy, and has all the cash value upside that you find in IUL. So it is a true hybrid product where it has all the guarantees of whole life insurance and the structured premium of whole life with guaranteed death benefit, guaranteed cash values, but, or I should say, and the opportunity to earn the cash value upside that you find in an IUL. So it's a really unique product. And we can do other conversations about that product just alone and the types of opportunities to think about. We have two IULs today that we focus on. The first one is the protection IUL. We won't illustrate that product today, but I like to say, this is like the last life insurance policy that customers will buy. We do a lot of term conversions into this contract. It's a low premium, guaranteed death benefit to age 90, and we run it properly so that it runs all the way out forever on the current assumption side. So it's a nice guaranteed contract, low out-of-pocket premium that provides families with some cash value upside, as well as a death benefit guarantee, which people really, really enjoy. But finally, the star of the show, by far our flagship product, where the predominant percentage of our sales are sold, is our Virtus 3, VIRTUS, Virtus 3 Index Universal Life product. So what you'll see here, and I'll zoom in a little bit. I don't want to zoom in too much. What you'll see here is just basic WinFlex. It's just like reading a book. You work from left to right through the tabs. I won't spend too much on the illustration design. This call is being recorded, so that will allow you to pause, rewind when you're seeing my clicks. But let's just use a male 40, and let's drop him from super preferred down to preferred. We can leave him in Alabama. That's fine. All right, this is just basic insured information. All right. So generally, when you're solving for IULs, if you're very familiar with IUL, this will just be, a revision, it'll be going through it again. But if it's new, generally what you find is there's two designs. The first is you have a premium that the customer has identified with you after you've walked them through the benefits of the solution that you're providing to them. And they say, this sounds great. I love having tax-free growth. I would love to have access to tax-free money later in life. I would love to protect my family and have a tax-free death benefit. This sounds phenomenal. I have $500 a month I'd like to pay, so $6,000 a year. That's generally how these products are sold. But sometimes you will have a conversation where a customer says, I get it, this sounds great, but I need $500,000. I need 250, I need $1 million. And so then when you know the death benefit, you must tell the computer to solve for the premium. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell the computer to solve for the face amount because we know the premium, and it defaults to minimum. I want to solve for the minimum face amount. Just in general in these designs, again, so this will be revisionist for some of you, but for others, this might be new. When you're running IUL solves and the focus is on cash value, less on the death benefit, you want to tell the computer to solve for the minimum face amount, which our software automatically does. So because we know the premium, I'm going to enter that. I'll just say for 10 years, we'll make it a nice case. We'll say they pay $10,000 a year annually for 10 years. And that's it. That's how you structure it. And the computer knows no premiums thereafter. Index crediting strategy. Now we're starting to get into the meat and potatoes. I mentioned earlier a bit about simplicity and a bit about transparency. We're going to talk a little bit about that now. Again, because those three words, simplicity, transparency, and value, are literally who we are. They are core to everything that we do. And even me as a person, I like to keep things simple, be transparent. I want to try to offer you guys value every day. So our index crediting strategy is very straightforward. Earlier, when I was showing that boring PowerPoint slide, I mentioned, hey, we designed these contracts with the customers in mind. We want them to know what they're buying. And this three index crediting strategy, the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, the Euro Stoxx 50, those are the largest indices or most known indices, generally in the public, certainly with the S&P, and our software defaults to that. Okay, so this is an annual point-to-point strategy. So it's very straightforward, right? And then you can see the caps. It's 11.5 in the S&P, 9.75 and 10.5 respectively with the other indices. So it's a cap strategy. You as an agent do not need to explain spreads and percentages. You don't have to do that. You likely know how spreads and percentages work, but it doesn't matter how great of a job you do explaining it. Customers do not get it. It's like the number one pushback that we hear in the industry is they don't understand how the indices credit. So super straightforward, annual point to point. And then the final thing is we offer 100% participation rate and we guarantee it. What does that mean? That's Ryan, that's a lot of words. What does all that mean? Basically, what I'm telling you is after this contract's fees and expenses are paid, which I haven't even gotten into yet, I'll just tell you now, ultra low fees and expenses. Shout out to Mutual of Omaha, shout out to Allianz, and then shout out to us. Because generally, we're like number 3 or 4 in the entire industry. We offer strong value, again, that word, for your customers because we keep our fees and expenses really, really low. It's part of our special sauce. But after that really low fees and expenses are paid, every dollar left over, we guarantee 100% of it will participate, which means it will go into the indices that you select for your customer. That's really special. Not a lot of companies do that. Some will guarantee like 80 or 90, or they'll put someone at 100% participation rate, but they won't guarantee it. The final thing is you can stress test this product, and I actually recommend you do this. I'm not going to for simplicity's sake on this call today, but you can drop this down to 3, down to 2, down to 4, and on the right, like for a male 40 preferred, that's who this customer is. You can literally drop this S&P running at 7.05 down to 2%, and it will run to maturity to age 121. That's crazy. That shows how low our fees and expenses are. So we call that stress testing, and that's a really special thing. You should be doing that with other carriers. If you've run IUL in the past, I highly recommend you do that. It's a great way to see how the fees and expenses affect a contract. But that's a little bit about the product, a little more, and so that defaults to S&P. I'm going to leave that 100% in the S&P. Disbursements. Okay. When I mentioned earlier that our product is either win, place, or show, to use that again, that horse racing analogy, this is what I was referring to. Our ability to have really strong cash value grow inside of the contract, and then how much money are we able to show being pulled out of the contract in like a supplemental retirement income strategy, or using it to pay for a college education for a child or a grandchild. That's why these people buy these contracts. It's one of the main reasons why. And so we wanted, when we rolled out as Augustar and we were a newer entrant to the market, we know there's a lot of competition, and we planted our flag and said, no, we can't just be another voice in the crowd, another face in the crowd. We need to be special. And where do we want to be awesome? And this is what we chose. And this is how we designed our contract to be as competitive as possible and allowing customers access to their money. So I'm going to run this for you. There's a couple of clicks here. It's a little clicky, as I like to say, but we're going to do it. When you click on this box, I'm going to do it again. There's a big pop-up that says, hey, if you're trying to solve for max loan, which is what I'm going to do, pay attention here, solve for max. Click this box right here, solve for max. That's what I'm going to do. And it opens up some new options. WinFlex does everything in years, not ages. So there's a little bit of math. I cheated on this, a little preparation. I've done this a few times. I know my customer's 40. So in 25 years, when he is 65, I want to show income coming out, start income coming at age 65 when he retires, and let's show it for 15 years. We'll stop it at age 80. That's what these are. Because remember, he's 40. So in 40 years, he's 80. That's when we'll stop it. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the index loans here. We got to do this. So there's two loan types: standard, which will wash in year 11. I'm going a little fast because I'm keeping my eye on the clock and I want to make sure we show the e-app. We can talk a little more about the differences between standard and index loans. By the way, if you've heard variable loan or you've heard participating loan, you're wondering, Ryan, what the heck is index? It's all the same. Because why not have three names in the industry for the same thing? It's the same thing. All right. So our index loan follows the Moody's bond rate at 5.3. It can go up, it can go down, or in theory, it could stay the same. The index loan could wash in year one of the loan, which is why it's the more attractive option, which is why I always change it. Okay. So,
What do you mean by wash?
yeah. So ultimately, what happens is when the loan washes, whether it's in year 11 of the standard loan or potentially in year one of the index loan, and I like to use the index loan as the example because it's the easiest way to explain it. What that means, Paul, is let's say at age 65, 25 years out for this customer, he takes out that first loan and it's a max loan, and he gets, let's say, 6.3 in the S&P 500. So his rate of return in that year of the loan was 6.3, but the loan interest rate is 5.3. So he washes in any year that he gets 5.3% rate of return in the S&P 500 because he's paying a 5.3% charge on his money because that's what the index loan is today. But if he gets 6.3, it's a wash, it's positive 1% arbitrage is this fancy word we use. It's just a spread.
Yeah.
So wash means any year where the returns in the policy equal to or better than the loan charges that they're incurring for taking out on their money.
Oh, so on the standard one, you have to wait until year 11 where the arbitrage actually gets applied to your account.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
And the way that works is they actually charge 1% more every year than what you earn. So if you maxed out
Mm,
at 11.5 in the first year of the loan, we're going to charge you 12.5. If you got
got it.
zero because you hit the floor, we're going to charge you 1%.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. 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 Thanks. I was going to just go through it. I wasn't going to cover it. So thanks for asking that question. Um, so that's the clicks and how WinFlex has designed the income. Just a little bit about just like IUL. This isn't 101. This is like IUL 201 or 301 level class. So when you're designing these illustrations where you are solving for your families that you're protecting to grow as much cash as possible, remember you're likely knowing the premium amount and you're telling the computer to solve for the face amount. And our software defaults for, okay, well, what is the face amount? Well, we want to solve for the minimum. All right. The part of that ties this all together is something called a B to A switch. What is that? A B to A switch is an option B death benefit is an increasing death benefit. And then an option A death benefit means it's level. The inner workings and the mechanics of the policy has to do with preventing it becoming a modified endowment contract. We really can go into this in more detail and more when we have more time and more detail. But the mechanics of the contract and the way it's designed is it allows the policy to function as best as possible, but optimized for cash value accumulation, minimizing the death benefit, so that that pool of money that the customer could access later on in life for anything that they need on a tax deferred basis is as great as possible. We know that they're paying for 10 years. So almost always you are going to turn this from a B to A and switch it in year 11, which is the year after you've stopped paying because we're paying for 10 years. You want to stop the B to A, you want to switch it from B to A in year 11. Okay. And then we are paying annually. This is where you would change it monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual. And then 95% of the time, guideline premium is the default best insurance test. It has to do with that modified endowment contract thing I just mentioned. So most of the time, you're not going to touch it. It is the default, so you don't have to worry about it. This is where you would do 1035 or additional lump sums, but we won't do that today. Policy riders. So, Paul, how are we doing for time? What are we looking at? We got about 10, 12 minutes left.
No, I said we got 15 minutes.
Okay, beautiful, perfect. Okay, so I'm sure we're going to jam everything all in with a nice package on it. So I would say that the value part, so simplicity, we're kind of working through some of the simplicity. You're seeing how to run the illustrations in here. You're gonna love the simplicity story of the e-app, which we'll get to in a second. Transparency, we just talked about with how the products are designed with the index crediting strategy. It's super straightforward. We want customers to know what they're buying. Value, you're gonna see when I click calculate, you're gonna see those distributions. You're gonna see our special sauces, the access to the cash that this customer can get to use later on in life and have that highly coveted tax-free bucket in retirement, right? Later on in life. But that's all great. I actually think the best value and the strongest story that we have is actually our living benefits. And so I'll just share really, really, really quickly. I'll do this super quick because I know I'm long on information and what I want to share with you, but we're always a little short on time. So what I want to share with you is a personal story. I'm 44 years old. 20 years ago, actually, exactly 20 years ago, which is crazy. My mom was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and she passed away at age 59, which is crazy. And my dad actually predeceased her. So my sister, who's older, and her name is Kelly, we had to figure everything out. I was like 27, 28 years old. My sister was like 30. And we didn't have the financial resources. We didn't have, it was a disaster. And so I lived through it and I know what it's like and what it's like to not have the type of planning, to not have what you need to be able to get something done for the people that you care the most about. It is awful. And so genetics are a son of a gun. I don't know what's going to happen to me, but I'm married to a beautiful wife, Melissa, and I've got two daughters. They're 11 and 13. And so I don't know what's going to happen to me, but like I told you, there's 50 something carriers that offer IUL. I own the Virtus 3. I own this product for my family with our living benefits because of the way that the living benefits are designed. When I explained to my wife, hey, this is all this money that we're going to pay into it, and this is exactly how it's going to work, she said, yeah, we have to do this. We'd be crazy to not do this. So I'm never going to make statements of certainty and make unilateral proclamations, but this absolutely was the best product and the right product for me and my family, in my situation. And I'm just super excited to be able to go through this living benefit story with you now so that you have it as one of the options for you to be able to position to your clients. And I'm confident that very frequently it'll be a really great solution and a really great option. So I'm going to dive into it right now and just spend a second on it. We use what's called the lean approach versus the discounting method when allowing the customers to actually access the policy values should they not be able to meet two of the six activities of daily living, or like my mom, if they suffer a cognitive impairment. Ryan, what the heck does that mean? Most other companies, when you take a look at the top six, top eight carriers in the index universal life space, most of them use the discount method. I'm just going to hit you with a super quick example. Let's say you have $1 million policy and you're 70 years old, or like my mom, because it's worse. Discount policies actually hit the policies more when they're younger, or for younger people. But regardless of age, let's say it's someone 70 years old. If they have $1 million benefit base and they can't meet two of the six activities of daily living, or they suffer a critical illness, they had a heart attack and now they have obstruction or whatever it might be, a cancer, stroke, whatever it is. What happens is that benefit base is discounted down to like $500,000 in this example. Maybe it's 600, maybe it's 400. It could be less, depending on if the younger the customer, the more that discount is. Then they apply the benefits and allow you to access it. A lot of customers don't know that that's how their policies work. And when I said earlier about transparency and how Augustar wants to put you in the driver's seat to have super easy, transparent conversations today with customers so they understand what they're buying versus the alternative, which is potentially having a very difficult, challenging conversation, probably not even with the insured that you built the relationship. It's probably and almost usually with their family members after they've passed away or because the person's incapacitated. Like, let's set you up for success. So the way the lean approach works is it is a dollar for dollar. There's no discount to your benefit. So if that same 70-year-old customer goes on claim and they have $1 million benefit base, that benefit base goes down to $900,000. If they needed 100K to take care of themselves, it goes down to 900K plus a 5% compounding loan. So what we find is that customers can usually stay on claim for years longer, or when they pass away, their loved ones can have a significantly higher benefit base to leave behind to their loved ones. So that's a really big deal, and something I'm super proud of, and we're really proud of at Augustar. And we can illustrate it. If I click this button here, I can show you. You can show your customers exactly how much they would get out, assuming certain assumptions inside of the contract. Discount policies cannot do that because you have to go through underwriting, and they don't know what the value is going to be. They don't know what they're going to be able to provide you. So again, that word transparency is so important for us. So if I sound like a broken record, it's intentional. We are simple, we are transparent, and we want to offer tremendous value. So the last thing I'm going to do is here's the reports, annual cost summary. I always click that. It's not defaulted. It should be, but it's not. So we'll click that here, and I'm going to click calculate. I did a lot of talking. Hopefully we don't time out. I don't think we will. Sometimes we do. If I get carried away. I did get a little carried away, but we'll see. And so you'll
No,
see
I
the
mean, this
speed of
this is all great. This is great information, man.
good. Yeah, good baseball. Yeah. And we'll see the speed of WinFlex in action here. It should be about 10 seconds per quote. Right now we're at 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, 11. I don't know, my server's slow. So a lot of information on here. Ignore it. Just click the PDF every time. I realize this is microscopic font. As you can tell, I wear glasses. I can't see anything, so I'll zoom in on this. So what we'll do is we'll scroll down to the current ledger. Okay, so what did we just do? Here's our customer. Value, good old value client. Male 40 preferred, paying $10,000 a year for 10 years. All right, there it is right here. 10K a year for 10 years. And then I solved for the most money that you can take out illustratively from age 65 to age 80, which is 34,140. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are win, place, and show. This was our flag plant when we launched in the market. It still is today. What is the maximum income that we can allow your customers to enjoy in that amazing tax-free bucket that you're going to open up to them that most of the time they don't even know they have access to until they get to meet a financial professional like yourself. So this is our special sauce, and this is the value, hammering home the value part of it. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to jump out of here, and I don't think it timed out. So again, I'm going to show you guys so quick hits is where it's at. I know this is a little busy. This is where WinFlex was to get the illustrations. Well, our e-app for life is right here. Click that. You're going to click. I think it's going to let me jump in. I don't know if I need to use your. Let's see. Yes, it did. Okay. So actually, I don't want to do an actual app. Let me go back. I'm going to do a demo. So I'm going to do a demo app. Sorry. Okay. Demo app. Right here. We do a demo. Okay, cool. Good. All right. So it's the
Now,
same thing.
now,
It
real
just
quick,
won't.
Ryan, can
Yeah.
everybody do a demo app as well, just to kind of play in the sandbox, so to
Yeah,
speak?
I believe they can. Yes, I believe they
Okay,
can. They just have to
perfect.
enter their agent ID. And so what this will do is I almost created an actual app, and I don't want to do that to you. So this is, as you see, there's hundreds of demos here that I've done. This is our it, it's identical. There's no difference at all other than just as demo agent. This is our Firelight software. So I can't take credit for this. Augustar can't take credit for this. We use Firelight. It's a third-party vendor that runs a lot of companies. We're not the only one. It runs the e-app experience that an agent and a customer get when applying for life insurance. They are awesome. Firelight is incredible. And they pushed us in 2026 to their newest brand new product. And this is what you're seeing. This is the brand new product. And it's lightning fast, highly interactive, super easy. These forms that you see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I realize, again, this is small. These are the pre-filled forms. These are the fun things. Do you rock climb? Do you skydive? We'll say no. Create app. All right. So this is literally what it's going to look like. And there's a few things I want to point out. I'm going to go through this a little quickly, but there are some important things that I want to point out that kind of highlight a little bit about the simplicity with Augustar. So you've got to click yes. If you click no, then you can't do any app to this very first question right here. And then believe it or not, you can paper deliver this. Don't, but you can. I don't know why people would do an e-app and they can't. But so you do have the option to actually not e-deliver in the portal, but don't do that. So we'll click next page. All right. And then right away, how many agents do we got? This is a demo, so it's going to let me skip a bunch of information. You guys can't do that. You'll see all the red boxes. So you'll just see it's one agent. You would do commission split. You put in the information here. Okay, awesome. All right. And then the insured information, I do have to give it like an age or it won't run properly. So I'll use mine. I am clinging to my early 40s, not my mid 40s, although it does make me 45 because we use age nearest, but I'm not going to take offense to that. Okay, click next. All right. Who is the owner? Let's just say it's me, but this is where you could do a trust, corporation, business own. It's all right here, but let's just say it's me. Okay, awesome. And then it says it's smart. It says, okay, I don't have to put in the name again because that's annoying. So, we don't want additional, we don't have to put the address in again because you already did that because that's annoying. Again, we just want to save you guys time. Keep it simple. All right. We'll just say one Benny, 100%. And then this is where we'll ask you, is it a living person? Yes or no. If I say no, is it a trust? Like, who is it? Is it a charity, etc.? I'll just say it's a person. Next, who is the person, but we won't do that. The contingent beneficiaries are next. I will skip that. Product, I'll just, okay, we'll say it's an IUL. It's our Virtus 3. Right. And then I do have to put an amount in. Let's just say it's 100,000 or a million. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Level, whatever. GPT. Okay. So this is really cool. The accelerated death benefit rider is already added in here. So that soapbox that I stood on for about 5 minutes, about 3 or 4 minutes ago, where I was explaining our living benefits, you don't have to click anything. It's free, doesn't cost anything. We want every customer to get it always, because why, like we care about you guys and we care about your customers, right? So it's automatically included. That's what this red font is saying. You don't have to do anything. So that's pretty cool, right? All right, next page. Okay. I have a slide, but I'm not going to show it because I don't want to spend too much time on it. And there's a lot of information on it. What is this? What is going on here? And why am I making a big deal about this? Okay. This is our clear path fluidless underwriting. And Paul, you actually don't know this. Earlier last week, we fixed this in the software. It used to default to no, and agents had to manually change this to yes. And so we told compliance and underwriting, guys, why did you design it? Like, change it to yes and make them opt out of it. Why would we want to put young, healthy people through underwriting if they miss it and check no by accident? So now they're automatically your customers. I'm 45. I hit a million. That's well within our clear path, which I'll explain in a second. So I'm automatically going to go through, and you'll see here it says pass, pass, pass. It's highlighting the programs of our clear path for this underwriting. So it automatically checks yes. You have to manually opt out of it, which I'm not going to do. Sorry, I click this, get this to go away. And it goes back to yes. So what is ClearPath Fluidless Underwriting? All right, I'll hit this really quick, and then there's just two more things I want to show, or like one more thing I want to show you. Most carriers have fluidless underwriting, so it's not a surprise that Augustar does. We should have it, right? But what's special about our program is how it will affect your business. So we offer ages 18 to 50 up to 2 million on our permanent products, and ages 18 to 50 up to 1 million on our term products. The up to and offer, what is that? No blood, no urine, no pyramid exams, no TI. We don't even call your customer, and I'll get to that in a second. That's the last thing I want to show you. It's truly like the customer doesn't do anything. And we know that 50% of the customers that apply in those demographics I just gave you will get approved in 5 days or less, and the policy will be issued in your inbox in 5 days or less. We also go up market, ages 51 to 60, but we cap it at 1 million. So a lot of folks that you work with every day, they're going to be interacting with on the phone, are going to fit between ages 18 to 60. And depending on the face amount, and depending on just some things in their life, their motor vehicle record, their health, there's a 50% chance we can get them approved and have the policy issued waiting for you in your inbox in 5 days or less. And it's not a simplified issue product. It's a best-in-class, fully underwritten product that you're getting on a simplified journey. It's a really, really special opportunity. The last thing I want to show you folks, here's the non-medical questions, family history, things like that, criminal record, do you smoke, etc. This is the last thing I want to show you. So sometimes when people run their first application through us and they start scrolling, they go, Ryan, boy, there sure are a lot of medical questions in here. Like, what gives? Like, when I write an app with ABCXYZ company, they've got like 10 questions. Why do you guys have like 20? Well, you're welcome. You're welcome is what I always tell them. And they're like, what, dude, what are you talking about? Why are you saying you're welcome? The reason I say you're welcome is that's how we keep the e-app. That's how we keep it smooth. And there's no telephone history interview. You guys control the e-app. You're the ones that are building a relationship. You've got them on the phone right now. When I get an 800 number on my phone and I don't know who it's calling, I don't answer it. Maybe I'll call them back if they leave a voicemail. So we know for a fact, if we eliminate the third-party vendor completing the telephone history interview, and you just send a complete full app and hit go, and that's it, it's going to help your placement rates. It's going to help everything. It's going to help the whole journey. It's going to keep things going super fast. That's part of our special sauce. So I always like to show this and just say, hey, if you see a bunch of questions on here, don't get discouraged. It's actually a good thing. Keeps you in control. It's going to help your placement rate. It's going to shave days off trying to get a third-party vendor to hunt your client down and answer a bunch of awkward questions. They don't know who this person is. So I don't know. I love that we do this, and I always like to just call that out. And honestly, Paul, that's me steamrolling through our value prop and some of our products and hitting the illustration designs. And and teeing up a bit about our e-app and really landing the plane on simplicity, transparency, and value. We just want to do things the right way, keep it easy for everybody involved, make sure the customers and the agents understand what's being sold and what's being bought, and at the end of the day, provide really strong value for you as agents and certainly the mom and dad policyholders that'll be buying Augustar products.
Ryan, I'm a man of efficiency, and that was efficient. So I appreciate you jumping in there. I mean, like ultimately, we don't want to have seven different, podcasts and calls on how to go through all these things where it's like, man, I just had to go get a degree in writing a policy with a carrier. I mean, dude, that was everything that they needed to know. And I love the fact that there's that sandbox where you can go run demos because you guys go play with that. For one, I think you should write a policy on yourself. I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, you get paid commission on it based off our comp the way it is. Like, it doesn't really cost you a whole lot that first year. And so go write a policy on yourself. And then play in the sandbox. Like go mess around, go through the application, the EAP process. And I think you guys have landed the plane in the perfect spot, which is you want to be able to be very competitive with the client, which means the more underwriting, the more competitive generally you can be. However, you don't want to put on these parameters and all these different things that cause the process to take so long where you're just like the client falls off, they don't do the phone interview, they don't get back to you with the amendment. It's like, you have such a great deal, but it was so painful for the client to see it through. They fall off. So I think you've nailed it with the fine line to get both accomplished, which are very important to get both accomplished. And then from the IUL standpoint, or the illustration, I think that it's very simple to run it where it shows how beautiful the picture of an IUL is, which is like you put in this amount, you took out this much in distributions, which is always way more than what you put in if it's ran the right way, which you guys set it
Yep.
up to be ran the right way with the minimum death benefit. And then you still have this amount in there and you still have this face amount if you were to pass away. When you circle those areas on the IUL, I mean, the client's like, dude, this is a no-brainer. Like this is so good. You get to minimize your tax footprint stepping into retirement and maximize withdrawals. And there's so many other things that just make it like it's almost like that just tells a story in itself. And then obviously we've got word tracks and things like that we really kind of help every agent know how to best articulate that and get the client to see it above just what's in front of them. But man, so good, dude. I appreciate you hopping on and sharing this with us. I think that it's going to be a beautiful partnership. It's going to be a great relationship. And I think we're going to go out there and serve a lot of families and help a lot of people with a product that maybe until now they haven't had access to get, but now they do. And so go out there and implement it. Let this not be just a podcast for like, oh, that was great. Like I feel smarter. I feel like I now know something I didn't know. Okay, congratulations. But ultimately, we want you to go out there and serve more families, make more money. So, like, what can you do today to have a conversation with somebody maybe that you know? Maybe it's calling clients back that you sold a policy to in the last 6 months, 3 months, a year, doing a review, opening up the door, asking them what are they putting into their 401k? What are they putting away for retirement? What do they intend to put away into retirement? Find some premium with those questions and then show them what it looks like to be able to have that money go to work for them in a much, much greater way. And so I appreciate you, bro, and looking forward to the future with you, Ryan.
Likewise, yeah. So the future is bright, and I can't wait to get started working with everybody. So yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity, Paul.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hey, let's make it a massive week. Be strong, stay steadfast, and we'll talk to you next week. God bless you guys. Take care.